talk about the VPN concept. Okay, so before the break, we'll cover up small theory portion, then we'll go and talk about the practical. Okay, so now I have got the same exact VPC and other concept. Okay, I've got a VPC, I've got a public subnet, I've got a private subnet, and I want to allow my different geographical region to access my AWS VPC using a private network or a VPN network. So there are many ways to do that. See, for example, I have a lot of geographically dispersed users, like I have a remote location, or if I have a kind of roaming user, if I have a kind of a home user, all these are individual users, right? They are not sitting in the office location. So they are all roaming users. They can be either in um, a home user, or they are doing a work from home, okay? Or they might be a remote site users. So in those locations, we might not have a network router or a network high-end device in order to configure some kind of site-to-site VPN or those things. So in these cases, what I can do is I can just use a concept called client VPN endpoint, which is nothing but point-to-site VPN concept in Azure, can be used for connecting these systems. Okay, open or client VPN endpoints. I can come and connect to Azure. Oh, sorry, I'm always using the Azure term. Okay, I can connect to AWS using a private channel. So I have a AWS virtual private cloud VPC network, and within that, I've got a lot of subnets and systems. I got public subnet. I want to connect to these systems using the secure network. I don't want to go through the public internet directly. Instead, I want to go to the AWS systems using a VPN tunnel or a kind of secure channel. Okay, in order to do that, what I can do is I can configure a point-to-site VPN setup in order to allow my users to access these resources using a VPN tunnel or a private tunnel. So how I can do that? I can just set up a point-to-site VPN concept. Here in AWS, we call it as client VPN endpoint concept. Over the internet, what I can do is I can set up a point-to-site VPN tunnel, and using that tunnel, I can connect to my AWS environment safe and securely. So, see, all of you are from IT support background, right? So, if you are connecting to your office network, you will have something like Pulse Secure, or you will have some different VPN connections like Symantec, or different solutions are there, right? Cisco or Citrix, whatever. They provide you a kind of VPN client, and using that VPN client, you will be connecting to your office network using a private IP address. After you connect to your office network using that VPN client, you will be able to access all the resources using the private IP address itself. Okay, that is the concept we are seeing here. From my home network, if I use the VPN client, I will be connected to the AWS network, and I will be able to access all the resources using the private IP address. So this client endpoint will connect to the VPN gateway router, and that VPN gateway router will in turn allow me to connect all the resources in the AWS using the private IP address. Okay, we are going to see that now. So we'll have a router here. The router is called as VPN gateway, or virtual private gateway, that will allow all the VPN users to connect in a through the VPN tunnel. So if you have remote users like this or roaming users like this, they can use the client VPN endpoint concept. But if I have a branch office, or if I have a office location where I have a high-end router, switch, and all those things, then I can go for a concept called site-to-site VPN. So this is mainly for the branch office location or main office location, or this can be a service desk support location, or it can be a primary support location where you'll have hundreds of users. Okay, 100 to 1000 or more than that. Okay, here we are talking about one user or 1 to 5 users, a remote office location or a single user concept. Okay, for this particular concept, you can use client VPN endpoint, but for a main office location, you might have a lot of users sitting in the office. So these users, they cannot go and have individual client VPN endpoint. Instead, what they will do is they will connect these users to a VPN gateway device in their location. This can be a Cisco or Checkpoint or whatever device that they have in their on-premises network. It can be a firewall device also, like ASA or Checkpoint or whatever. So that device will connect to Amazon virtual private gateway using a tunnel here. So we have two different gateway devices involved. The customer side of the gateway is called customer gateway, and AWS side of the gateway is called virtual private gateway. The gateway that connects to VPC is called virtual private gateway. The gateway that connects to the end users is called customer gateway. So in this concept, there will be two different devices that will talk to each other. So this is called site-to-site VPN concept. So AWS side of VPN gateway is called VP gateway, virtual private gateway. Customer side of the VPN tunnel gateway is called customer gateway. So this is a tunnel that will create between two different network appliances or network devices. Okay, site to site VPN. So what exactly is happening when users are connecting through the internet? We are creating a private tunnel or a VPN tunnel to secure the traffic. Okay, that is what we are doing here. The site to site VPN is for what? We are creating a VPN tunnel to allow the users to send the data in an encrypted way, or we are establishing a VPN tunnel here. Okay, so if you have a main office location, you can use site-to-site VPN concept. If you have a remote office or a home office, you can allow them to use client VPN endpoint to connect to AWS in a private VPN channel or in a private VPN tunnel. So what is the advantage of doing all these things? You are encrypting the traffic, whatever is traversing through the internet connection or through the public internet. We are enhancing the security posture. Okay, so let me explain this. Okay, I think we can only cover these two things. There are many other concepts, but let's not complicate it too much. Let's go one by one. Okay, here, let's talk about VPN. So VPN, by the name itself, you understand it is a virtual private network. It's not VPC, it is VPN. Okay, VPN can be implemented in two different methods, primarily two different methods. There are many other methods. So one, you can implement using client VPN endpoint concept. In Azure, we call it as point to site VPN concept. In AWS, we call it as client VPN endpoint. Then the second method is site to site VPN method. So you have got two different VPN configuration setup that you can implement based on the locations. Okay, so for as I told you, if you have a remote user or a roaming user or a home user, they can use the client VPN endpoint because they will not have a high-end appliance or a network device to configure site-to-site VPN. But if you have a router at your home which supports site-to-site VPN, you can also practice that. That is fine. Okay, and site-to-site VPN is mainly for a branch office or a main office location, or it's for a main office like a support office. See, for example, in Chennai, we might have a main office for some of the customers, right? And in remote locations like Madurai, Trichy, and all those things, you might have some office location, but there will be one or two users sitting in the remote office, and they might not have a high-end device there. They might have some internet connection routers, but that will be a very small startup type of router or a small like what we can say, it's a beginner version of the router or switch you might have. But in main offices in Chennai and Coimbatore or main office locations, you might have hundreds of users connecting from that location, and that location might have a lot of high-end devices in terms of firewall or router and those things, which can be used for configuring the site-to-site VPN setup, right? In branch office, main office, or support office locations, we can have the site-to-site VPN. So this can be used for 1 to 5 users or 1 to 10 users concept, and this can be used for 10 to 100 to 1,000 of users. Okay, so virtual private network. Virtual private network, what it is going to help you do? It is going to create a VPN tunnel within the public internet. In the public internet, when the traffic is being sent, it will be sent without encryption by default. But customer is looking for the traffic to be sent across the tunnel, or they want to send they send the traffic in a isolated segment or in a secure way. So in order to secure your traffic, you can use the VPN concept. Okay, so that is the primary objective of VPN. And one more thing I can just tell you is that you can connect to all the office devices or application using private IP address after you connect to the VPN tunnel. Okay, using the VPN tunnel, you will be able to connect to all the IP addresses or websites and systems using the private IP address itself. See, that's what you do, right? After you connect to the office VPN server or VPN device, you will be able to access all the resources using the private IP address itself. Okay, that's what we are going to see now, how we are going to implement the open client VPN endpoint and how to implement the point to site, sorry, not point to site to site VPN. Okay, so these are the concepts that we are going to do now. So for client VPN endpoint, we have okay, for client VPN endpoints, we have got only 10 minutes, right? I'll just cover only the theory. When we come back after the dinner break, we'll see the practical for both client VPN endpoint and site to site if possible today, or else we'll complete the site to site VPN tomorrow. Okay, so let's see how much time we have. And based on that, we'll see the practical. Okay, so client VPN endpoints. So client VPN endpoints is a AWS VPN service or AWS client VPN concept. It's a AWS managed VPN service that will allow for what? That will allow for connections from remote locations or on-premises network for end users. Okay. And you can access all the resources in a private tunnel using private IP after the VPN connection is established. Okay, let me go to the portal and I'll quickly show you where that option is. You have to go to VPC. Okay, under the VPC, you have a separate section for VPN. Okay, so you have these options. So these are the options that we are talking about now. So if you go to VPN, you have customer gateway, virtual private gateway, site-to-site connection, client VPN endpoint. So for client VPN endpoint, this is the first option which you are talking about. This is for connecting your end users. Okay, so I'll show the practical when we are back after the break. But there are many options. Okay, so if you look at the authentication information, it gives you many options to authenticate. By default, you can use the AWS native option, which is your certificate based option, or you can also use your Active Directory based option, meaning you can use the second option. This is for user based. User based means AD based. All the AD users will be able to connect using their username and password. See, most of the VPN, they allow integration with your office credentials, right? Using your Active Directory username, you can connect, or you can also use certificate based method like the public private key concept, or they call it as server client certificate method. Okay, so we have two authentication option. So based on your environment, if you have a AD environment, better to go with user based. If you don't have a AD environment, you can go for a certificate based method. Okay, so what are the benefits of going to this client VPN endpoint? The first thing is we are enhancing the security. Okay, we are not sending the traffic. Instead of sending the traffic via public internet, we are transmitting it via VPN tunnel. It's a tunnel, I mean, it's a kind of encryption channel where you will not be able to tamper that. You will not be able to decrypt it without the proper private key or without the proper client endpoint. Okay, and the other advantage is it is a managed service, which means like you don't have to worry about the management of the device. You don't have to maintain the VPN device. It is a managed service, and there is no downtime there. Okay, so it's a managed service. So no operational overhead. So you don't have to, no need to deploy, no need to manage, upgrade, all those things, firmware upgrade or iOS upgrade. Everything will be maintained by AWS itself. Okay, that's important thing. And as usual, this is highly available. This is highly durable. This is scalable. So based on the number of connections, number of users, automatically this will increase. It is elasticity is there. Okay, so it will increase and decrease based on the number of connections that are coming in. And also it supports multiple authentication methods, and it is very straightforward. Okay, you can just go and install it, and it is very easy to use. Okay, and you also have the options to go and integrate with your AWS VPC that will help you to kind of connect all the resources in your VPC using the private IP address itself. There are a lot of benefits that we can keep adding. So this is the top few benefits here. Okay, so the client VPN endpoint. So what are the other options we have? Okay, we can also go and enable connection logging. That is one another thing. You can have all the logs tracked. Okay.
Stanley, how can it
Go
be
ahead.
scalable? It's something that's on the client side, right? You install like
No,
Pulse
no,
Secure, you
no,
said, right?
no. So I'm talking about the VP gateway, which we are connecting to. So the service is
Okay.
called Client VPN Endpoint Service. So that service that is being provided by AWS is actually a multiple device, clustered device. This Client VPN Endpoint connection which you are connecting to. I'm not talking about the Pulse VPN or the client VPN
Client
endpoint.
side.
I'm talking
Okay.
about the server side, which is on the AWS environment. So this client VPN
That is on
endpoint
the
is
VPN gateway, right?
appliance. Yeah, this is on the VPN
Okay.
gateway, correct. This is on the virtual private gateway, correct.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
this
Yeah.
device is a highly available device. I'm talking about the client VPN endpoint here. Okay, this client VPN endpoint is nothing but a clustered physical or virtual appliance by Amazon. Okay, managed and maintained by Amazon, so we don't have to worry about it. So we don't know what technology they use or what iOS version they use, but it is completely managed by them, so it will not go down. That's what it is. But if you have some issues with your network connection, then it's your point of failure. I'm not talking about the
Fair.
client side, rather I'm talking about the service that is provided by Amazon AWS.
Okay. Yeah. Thank
Yeah. So anyways, we'll see the practical after the break. Okay, so these things, it will take some time to explain and understand. But while we do that, maybe we can, yeah, let's only continue after the break. Any questions on the VPN general understanding? You guys have general understanding about the VPN?
Sorry, on
Yeah,
a basic question actually. It's a very basic,
yeah.
but I think it is disturbing me. That is what I want to ask
Fine,
you.
fine. Please ask. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the question is, see, so whatever the private network we are using, just you use the word tunneling, right, on the
Mm-hmm,
internet.
mm-hmm,
So internet is the public one. So
mm-hmm,
everybody can, as you may know, it's like a road. So
mm-hmm,
everybody can travel on the road.
mm-hmm,
So whatever the Pulse or Cisco, whatever we are using, how come it could be a tunnel in a public road?
mm-hmm. Okay,
So
fine.
you use.
So, okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so I'll get little more detail. Since you have asked it, I'll just go and create a point one more time. See, you have a office location. Okay, and this office location has got a high-end device, network device. Okay, and they have given you connection to internet. Okay, so they have the internet connection here. So it is going through the internet. So whatever the connection we are talking about, so you have the end user here on the right side. Okay, you have the end user on the right side. So they will also have an internet connection. So both of them have an internet connection now established between them. Okay, so you have an internet connection established, and within this internet connection, what is going to happen now? We'll go and install a client VPN endpoint, or we are installing a VPN client. So when you go and install a VPN client, it is not going to make any changes. After the VPN client is installed, you are connecting to the VPN device on the environment side. So when you connect on the VPN server device or on the VPN appliance on the customer or the company's network, what they will do is they will configure a private range of IP address for the client systems. Okay, private range of IP for the client system. So if I go and connect it, it will assign a private IP for my end device. So what will happen after the VPN client is connected to the VPN server device? The communication will happen through the private IP to the private IP. It will not use the public IP anymore. Only for internet connection, only for establishing the VPN connection, it will be using the initial handshake. It will be using the internet. But after that, there will be a VPN session that will be established. That is what we call it as VPN tunnel. So there will be a VPN session that will be established using the VPN range of IP. Okay, so I'll show you how that works in practical. Okay, so even if you connect to the SSL Pulse or SSN whatever, you'll get a one more IP address from that VPN device. So that is called as client VPN or client CIDR range of IP address. See, if you go and create it, even it is asking the same thing, right? What is the range of IP address that I'm going to use? So I can just give something like 172.16.100.0/24, something like that. So this is for my AWS with Stan VPN. This is my clients. Uh, okay, I'll just say some clients. Okay, I'm yet to create the server certificate and all those things. So the connection will be using this private range of IP address. It will not be using the public IP. Instead, it will be using the private range of IP address to send the official data alone. So if you're connecting to Google and other things, that will be using the public IP. For connecting the public facing website and other things, it will be using the public IP and it will be using the public endpoint of the services. But for connecting to the office, it will stop using the public IP address. Instead, for sending all the data and for all the handshake and the traffic will be going through the private IP to private IP. That is something a hidden channel within the internet. That is a kind of VPN session within the internet. So VPN
So
is a, yeah,
that will be chargeable to the internet provider. So company will
yeah,
charge for
we are
that,
already
or
using internet, right? See, we already having internet, that public internet, they are going to charge it. Okay. So
correct.
chargeable based on the consumption. Okay, and here what I'm doing is I'm going and creating a VPN tunnel. VPN tunnel is a secure session within the internet. Okay, within the internet connection.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a secure session within the internet connection where I am connecting the VPN server and the client, or the client endpoint, and it is using the private IP address. So whatever data I'm sending, it will not be sending using the public IP address endpoint. It will be starting to send using the private IP address range, and that private IP address range will not be openly be seen on the internet. Okay, it will be an encrypted tunnel after the VPN tunnel is established. All the data will be sent using the private IP address plus using the encrypted tunnel.
So this is not chargeable, right? So only we are paying for the internet usage, not for
Correct.
this,
For,
for
yeah, for
encryption or
all,
for any
yeah,
tunnel.
yeah, for all the
Okay,
data
okay,
transfer, there will be outbound data transfer, like whatever upload download we are doing. It will be the data charges will be there, but we are doing it using one more level of authentication and encryption. So you cannot just connect to the office environment without that credential. Okay, you need
mm,
credential to connect first, and you get an IP address. Only after the authentication and handshake is done, the users will start uploading and downloading the data using private IP address.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
they are not using the public IP address anymore. There are two levels of things, right? One we talked about the authentication. I told you, like it might be based on the certification or certificate or active directory user. The credential will be verified. Then you will get a private IP within the public internet tunnel, and you will start sending the data and receiving the data. Okay, that is how it
Okay.
works. I mean, this can be explained in little more detail also, but I don't want to use, confuse people. Okay, because like the more we
Okay.
get inside the network, it will definitely need more conversation. Okay, so what is happening with VPN tunnel? There is a small uh, secure session that gets established once your client
Mm.
endpoint, once your VPN client and the VPN server gets handshaked and authenticated.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
sir.
No problem. Okay, let's go for the dinner break. Any final questions before we wind up for the dinner break? We primarily discussed about the Route 53. Okay, that is what we discussed. Any questions on Route 53? Okay, I'll stop the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so okay, let's go and look at the practical aspect. But before we get into it, there are a couple of other points which I want to highlight. Okay, see, there are some conversations with the customer. You might, if you talk to some of the US customers, they will ask whether the client VPN is FIPS compliant, which is like federal information processing standard compliant, right? So definitely this is a FIPS compliance package. Okay, so there are some other compliance also. It is, it is supported. Okay, so some organization whether they will ask whether it is FIPS compliant or some specific industry vertical related security certification compliant. So all those things they will ask. And similarly, there are customers who asked about the client VPN endpoint whether it supports IP version 4 and IP version 6. It supports only IP version 4. Okay, so that is one another thing. Okay, it does not support IP version 6. If in case if you want to have IP version 6, you can go to the marketplace and choose some third party open VPN or third party appliance, the Cisco or FortiGate or some third party appliances which supports IP version 6 also. Okay, so now let's go and get the certificate created. Okay, ideally you should not go and put the certificate on the portal itself. There is an option where you can go and get a certificate created in the Azure in AWS portal itself. But um, the the best method or to the best way of having the certificate created and stored is creating it and storing it in the certificate store. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so let me go to one of the server. You can just log into any of the system. You can do the steps in your machine also, but since my machine is having some complexity or complication, I'm just using the internet, sorry, any specific VM. Okay, I can create any VM to create the certificate. So let me log into the OpenVPN portal, openvpn.net. I can just go and download the community downloadable package. Okay, so here you will get different packages for different operating system. Okay, if you have a Linux system, you can just go and download the Linux flavor or Windows or MacBook. Based on that, you can go and download the package. I'm going to download the 64-bit package. Okay, once after this is downloaded, you can go and install it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, as of now, it has installed the client, but I also need the package for the server edition also. Okay, let me just go here. Okay, have someone used this OpenVPN concept before? Have you guys are familiar with the OpenVPN? Anyone has any idea? Have you done this before? Is my audio okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see. This is a SQL server. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's fine. But anyways, I'll just go and have the script downloaded. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, let me go and download it from the community portal. So there are multiple ways of doing this. Okay, I can just download the ECRSA package. Okay, OpenVPN PKI. Okay, they're given just only the step-by-step instruction, but where exactly is the bundle? Okay, let me just download the source zip file. Let's try this. Earlier, they used to provide a direct option for the ECRSA. Okay, so they are given the build file here. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me go and check where exactly it has got installed, and then let's do the other option. Okay, maybe this might have got installed in the program files. Earlier, they used to get an option called ECRSA in the C drive itself, but I think this time they are adding it to the regular program files under that Open VPN. Here it is. And here within that, they have something called binaries, right? Open VPN and interesting. Just give me a second. I'm checking OpenVPN community downloads. Let me reinstall. I think I missed a specific option here. Let me go to the downloads. Let me try to install again. Modify. Okay, let me remove this first. It should give me multiple options. It should give me whether I want to install the server and all those things. Customize. Okay, see what happened is it did not install the OpenVPN service. It installed only the client package. Okay, see if you look at here by default option, it does not include the OpenVPN service. Okay, I'll say install it. Also, in order to manage the OpenSSL certificate and OpenVPN package, you need to install this ECRSA package also. This is the tool to manage the certificate and store it in a proper way and all those things to generate any certificate as part of this package. This gives you certificate management option also. So this OpenVPN, it gives you client, server package, and also certificate management package. All three are included. So last time I think I missed out. I just installed the default one. Instead, go and install by customizing it and install it. Okay, so install it now. Okay, let me close this. Okay, installing completed. Now, if I go here, I should start seeing a folder on the home drive itself. Okay, under the program files, OpenVPN, ECRSA. Okay, so here itself I can see the ECRSA, and this is the RSA configuration startup batch file. So what you can do is you can open up the PowerShell. Okay, And if you open the PowerShell in that location, it will automatically take me to the program files, OpenVPN ECRSA, and I can start the certificate configuration using this batch file. Okay, I can just go and run that ECRSA -start. Okay, so just give it a minute. Okay, let me also open up the file. I mean, it's some time now. I did that few weeks back. Okay, let me copy that for your reference. Okay, so that you guys can follow it after the session. If you want to practice it, you can also use this instruction. Okay, I'll paste this so that you guys can follow this later. Okay, so you have to go to the location where exactly you have installed it. I will also make sure install OpenVPN client along with the RSA tool. I will mention customize option, include OpenVPN server, ECRSA package, and the client. You have to install all three. Okay. So let me copy this ECRSA start. So this will go and initialize a public key infrastructure environment. In your Windows system, they also give you certificate manager. You can also use that, but in Linux and AWS, mostly like it's predominantly in AWS, they use Linux, right? So it's better to use the ECRSA package. Even if you have a Linux system, you can do follow the exact same step. Even you can use your certificate manager. I think in Windows, if someone has attended my Azure class, you might have seen I've created a same public key certificate and private key certificate in certificate manager using the Windows operating system. You can also do that, but here in AWS I want to use the other option, other method. Okay, you can follow both of them. They both of the option will work. Okay, I'm going to run the batch file now. This will initialize the public key infrastructure shell prompt, and once after the shell prompt is ready, I can just go and run the other commands. Okay, you can just follow the same step-by-step instruction. So this is initialize the public key infrastructure environment. So this is done. Now we have to go and initialize the PKI. Okay, so sorry, initialize the PKI, then build a new client certificate. I can just say ECRSI in it. Let's follow this. So dot slash ECRSA and it. Okay, it has initialized the PKI infrastructure. So after I initialize that, you can see that it has created a PKI folder here, public key infrastructure folder here. So that is what it will do. That's why I'm having 3 screens in parallel. Okay, now let's go and create a certificate pass. I'm going to create a certificate authority. Okay, I think the up arrow doesn't work. Okay, ECRSA is the command utility to manage the certificate. ECRSA is the certificate manager package. Okay, and using that, I'm building a certificate authority in the system, and I don't want to have any password. Okay, if you want to have password, just give it a password. It will add an additional password authentication also for multi-factor. So I've not given that here. Okay, and it is asking for a common name for my password. I can just give it a common name. Okay, or else if you want to just leave it default, you can just leave it default. Okay, so here I will just leave it default. So I can just give my server name if I want to, but let me leave it default. It has created. And in general, in official environment, you have to use the server name of the certificate manager server. Whichever server you are using, you have to give the name of the server or the IP address of the server so that it can register for that particular system. In some cases, they will also keep the server power off, okay, to safeguard it, because it will not be used very often. Only when in case of requirement, we will bring up the certificate management server, okay, or the certificate OpenVPN server. So now let's go and run the other command. Okay, let's, instead of typing, I think we can just directly go and run this command. Now I'm going to generate the server certificate. Okay, so I'm building the server full certificate now. I'll just click enter. Okay, it has created a server certificate now. Okay, next I'm going to create a client certificate. So there are two certificates needed for handshake. People call it as private public key, or they call it as child certificate and server certificate. Okay, both are the same. So some people call it as public key and private key. Some people call it as server certificate and child certificate or client certificate. Okay, in Windows we call it as child and server certificate. So it is also equivalent to public and private key. Okay, now we have done both the steps. We have created the server certificate and we have also created the client certificate. In real-time environment, you can give the actual client name dot domain name for creating the certificate. But here I'm just going and doing it. If you have multiple client systems, you can also go and run it multiple times, so that you will create multiple client certificate based on the operating system or based on the system that you are going to use. So for each and every end user, you can go and run this command alone to generate the client certificate. Okay, so now after you do all these things, you can just exit from the prompt now. Okay, so now after you exit from the prompt, you can go and check few things there. Okay, if you go to ECRSA now, you can see a PKI folder with multiple certificate folders. So you can see how many certificate has got issued here. These are the two certificate that has got issued. So if you look at here, this is the child certificate which got issued. The client1.domain.tld is the client certificate, and this is the server certificate. These are the two certificate which got issued. And in general, like if you go to your certificate manager, it will be visible under your certificate manager if you are using this certificate.msc. But then we are doing it using the ECRSA file. Both are same, almost like only the procedure is different. But at the end, you can, if you are a Windows expert, you can create the certificate manager console and you can generate the server and client certificate there. But if you are a Linux expert, you can just use the IAC RSA on any operating system. It can be done on Red Hat Linux or any Linux flavor, and Windows also using the same method. So now we have got two different certificate and we need to import those two certificate into the cloud environment. Okay, so we have, so far what we have done is we have created, where exactly here? So we have created server certificate and child certificate. So once after you complete the server and client certificate, now you can copy those for certificate to a separate folder. In general, they will not go and tamper the source file. Instead, they will create a separate folder and they will be doing it there. Okay, I can just go to the home directory or the C drive, home folder. Okay, CD. Should I give CD? Okay, interesting. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, so here I'm just going to create a directory called certificates. And within that, I will copy all those certificates from my location. Okay, so, okay, I should go there, like, okay, 1 minute. Let me go back to that particular location. CD program files, CD open VPN, CD easy RSA, CD bin, not bin, it's PKI. Okay, so in this location, okay, I think I can just come back one step, because I'm also giving the command to copy from the PKI folder. Okay, I'm just going to copy all this command and I'm copying the files. So from this PKI folder, I have copied ca.crt file, server.crt file, server.key file, and the two client file into the C certificates folder. That is the thing that I've done. Using the copy command, I've copied those files to a separate folder. Okay, in order to avoid making modification to the original file, I've just copied all those 5 different files into my certificate path. That is what I have done here. Using the copy command, I've copied these 5 different files. Okay, so now I can just go back to the certificates folder. Okay, and now you can use the AWS CLI command. So for that, you have to download the AWS CLI command, and you can upload the certificates directly from using the AWS CLI. I'll show the AWS CLI maybe in after a couple of classes. I'll show you how to install the AWS CLI and manage all these things from the command prompt. You can manage it from the command prompt itself, or else you can just go to the AWS portal and you can manage it from the certification manager. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So here I can just go to the certificate manager. Always you should keep your certificate key and all those things safely stored in the cloud console. So even the password also, you should be storing it in the secret manager, not on your system. Okay, so all the SSL, TLS certificate and other things, always keep it in the certificate manager repository. This is a very safe location. Okay, I'll just import the certificate now. Okay, in order to do that, you have to follow certain steps. So in order to import the server certificate, you have to go to the PKI issued server file. Follow the instructions carefully. Okay, so go to the certificate and then server.key file. This is the file. If you want to see the extension, you can show the extension here. Sorry, not the hidden items. File name extension. So this is the server.key file. Okay, you have to copy the content from the server.key file and the server.crt. You can open it with your notepad, or if you have notepad++, that is also fine. You can copy the entire content from that server.crt file. Okay, so unnecessary space is not required. You need not have any space. Okay, you can just copy the entire content and put into the certificate body. So here you have to copy the content from your server.key file. Okay, so here let's close let's move this. So this file you have to open with notepad again and copy the content. I think mostly I should copy only the content within that. Let me try. Okay, if it throws error. Okay, it does not throw error. See, all these things are already in
Copy
the
the
main
entire.
certificate body. Sorry.
Sorry. No, entire thing should be copied and
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
from
Got it.
start to end.
Okay. Who is that speaking?
Rajshekar. Rajshekar.
Yeah, Raj. Okay, Raj. Okay. So you can check all these things. This will be already there in that other file also. So if you look at here, it will verify. Okay, so you can just, if you scroll down, you can see the same content is there also. Okay, the beginning and all the contents are there also. It will verify whether these things are matching and it will approve. So now in this content, we'll have to copy the CA file. CA file is common for both server and client. Okay, where exactly here? Okay, CA file is common for both server and client. This one. The CA cert is common for both server and the client package. Okay, I can just go and open it with Notepad. And I can copy the content. In Azure platform, we should not copy the first line and last line. We should only copy the key alone in Azure. Okay, in Microsoft, they
Okay.
don't allow the begin and end certificate option. So that's why I was just skeptical, but yeah, it allows here. So click next. And you can just name it as server key or whatever. If you want to mention that, you can just mention it as server. Next. Okay, it will validate. It will have all the contents: server body, server private key, server certificate chain, and you can import it. Now we have imported the server certificate. Now, so first we have done that. Now we have to next import the client certificate also. Okay, the same step, but we need to do it for the client content. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, so CA, you can copy it and you can paste it here. You can close the CA now. And now we have to copy the CRT first. So you have done this already, Raj? Have you done this
No,
already?
this we do it in the thing like in VMware, like for hosts and all.
Ah, okay, okay,
We
got
create the
it. Yeah,
certificates for
okay, got it.
security purpose. We do that.
Yeah, so you should not have any unnecessary space. Remove all the space, and
Yeah.
this one will be client. I'm just tagging it for easier understanding. Okay, even the domain name itself, it will be there, client1.domain.tld. But in real time, you should give the actual domain name and actual system name that you are using. Okay, now we have imported the server certificate and the client certificate. Okay, let's wait for a second. Okay, now we have both the certificate now, client certificate and the server certificate. We are ready to use this in OpenVPN concept now. So let's go to OpenVPN now. So client VPN endpoint, go and create a client VPN endpoint. So here I'm just going to say this is like AWS with Stan VPN setup, and I'll call this as client VPN endpoint for AWS with Stan attendees. I can give any range, whatever range you want to give, but this should be a private range. Okay, it can be any 10 range or 172 range or 192 range. It should be within the private range. Okay, so you can just verify whether your client system has a conflict. If your client system has a conflict, change this. Okay, now I can go and choose the server certificate here. This is why I uploaded the server certificate there. Okay, I can select the server certificate, and I can just, if I want to log all the details on the client connection, I can say yes, but this will add additional cost. It will go and create additional log files. I don't want to do all those things. And in the server, DNS server, I can just leave this. If I want to give organization primary domain controller and secondary domain controller, I can give the actual organization domain controller IP address. If you have a existing AD integrated DNS or DNS server, but here I will leave it empty. I don't want to give anything. I can select which VPC I want to access it using this particular VPN. Okay, I can just give the default VPC in Mumbai to be accessed. Okay, in Mumbai we have one server, right? That's fine. So I'll use the Mumbai VPC. Whatever VPC you want to connect through the VPN tunnel, you can select that particular VPC, and I can leave the default port. That is fine. Okay, timeout is fine. So 24 hours is very high. Okay, generally people give 8 hours or 10 hours based on the working time, because if you are giving 24 hours, even your client session is open, I mean, even if your laptop is open, you will be able to someone can make use of the VPN connection to access some data. Okay, so it's better to have lesser time, like 10 hours or 8 hours based on your working hours. And do you want to have client login banner? Yeah, if you want to give some client login banner, like if you want to give some restricted company and only authorized people should access all those things, you can just give additional banner. Okay, so let's create a client VPN endpoint now. Okay, it is showing. Okay, I'll use mutual authentication. I'll select the client endpoint. I missed to do the step here. Okay, so client endpoint. I don't want to create log. Okay, create VPN endpoint. At least 22 range. Oh, okay. They want more IP. Okay, just go back. I'll just say 22. Yeah. So now we have done 3 steps on a very high level. Okay. So what we have done, we have generated server and client certificate using OpenVPN ECRSA tool, which is nothing but the certificate management tool. And after this is created, I uploaded the server and the client certificate to AWS Certificate Manager, and I have created a OpenVPN endpoint for a VPC using the server and client certificate along with an IPCIDR range. That is nothing but 172 some 16.100.0 some range. Okay, so these are the 3 steps we have done so far. Now once after this is done, you can close this. It will take a couple of minutes, and once after the okay, let's give it a minute. Let's not rush. There are few things we need to do. Okay, let me go to the setup here. So far we have completed this also. We have imported and the certificates are there. Now, after we created the endpoint, all those things, now we have to associate it with the VPC and subnet, which is already something we done it along with the creation. We can just confirm whether we have the, oh, okay, it does not have it. Huh? Okay, let's go and associate the VPC and the subnet. Okay, so I'll just associate with the subnet. Where exactly my VMs are there? Is it in 1C or 1A? 1A only, right? That's fine. So I'll just select this and associate. You can add as many subnet you want. Okay, so I'm associating this. Okay, using the VPN, we can, which are the VPC and subnet I want to connect. That is what I'm associating here. You can associate the VPC and subnet, whichever you want to connect. Okay, now the association is going on. Okay, once after the association is done, let's go and check the next step. Okay, association is done. Now authorization. So authorization, generally we will allow specific range of user. Okay, so for example, this is ingress, inbound. Okay, if you have a what you call a gem server, or if you have some specific range of IP address that is used by your users, you can just specifically give that entry. Or here I want to connect it from my home, and maybe whoever is interested to do the practical from their side, they can also connect to this OpenVPN endpoint. I'll give you step-by-step instruction, and you can allow access to all the users. If I want to give specific access, I can also create a group in AD, or I can create a group, and then you can allow specific access to a group. Now here I'm allowing all internet access, but in general we'll give only the range of IP address from where we need to add, we need to access. Okay, I've given access to all of them. This is also done. Now we are going to validate the entry in the route table, how the routing is configured. Okay, it is already creating a route entry, so we are good. Okay, so we will have a destination CIDR, and this will be completed automatically. Let's wait for some time. Okay, it will take 5 to 10 minutes to get this completed. Once the things are completed, you can go and download the client configuration. Okay, let's give it a minute. So this is very easy. If you practice it, it will be very easy, but yeah, you have to practice it. That's the important thing. Okay, this is also verified. Okay, let me also allow ICMP for this machine. I'll better allow all traffic so that it allow ICMP and ping and all those things. Okay, I've allowed all traffic. Okay, so that I can just ping the machine from my Azure system. Okay, let me copy this. So I'm in this Azure VM. Okay, this is an Azure virtual machine, not AWS. I'm in a different cloud. Okay, this is a Azure VM. Okay, SQL database server. This is an Azure environment. So this is the IP address, 10 range of IP address, completely different range. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to ping that IP address. Okay, by default it is not going to connect. Okay, because we have not done anything. Okay, we have not installed the VPN client, or we have not added any certificate so far. Now, once this pending is completed, we can just go and download the client configuration. Okay, download this specific download VPN package. I'll just go and download this. Okay, let me see if there is anything. Nothing is there. I'll just go and download the client configuration, download it. So you can just copy that file to that system, copy the file to the server from where I'm going to connect. I can just close all unwanted files. Okay, this is all not needed. Okay, I've just closed all the things that I don't need. Okay, I'll just paste the file on the desktop. Okay, in this configuration file, I just need to add a couple of entry. Okay, open in this configuration file. I'll open with Notepad. So in this configuration file, I need to add 2 lines at the very end of it. Okay, let me go and copy that file content. Okay, we have to add the 2 lines to provide the positive certificate. Paste it next to the cipher line. That is important. Okay, I can just put it next to the cipher line, this one. Okay, so I'm providing the path where the client certificate and the server certificate, where the client certificate is stored actually in private and issued folder. There are 2 folders, right? I'm giving the path. So here, make sure if you are giving D drive, you should have stored it in D drive. But in my machine, where I have stored it in C drive only, right? I'll just give only C drive. So here I have mentioned D drive. I have stored all these files in C drive. So here within that, program files, open VPN, the PKI, and second, sorry, PKI. So here there are 2 folders. Okay, I'm just pointing out where exactly the client certificate is stored. Okay, you'll have one certificate inside the private and one certificate inside the issued certificate. So I'm just referring to these 2 files. Okay, either you can just give it or you can just give directly C certificates and the path. Okay, you can do either of that option. Okay, just save it and close it. So you can see that it is connecting to the client VPN endpoint from Amazon AWS using 443 port. So this is the client VPN endpoint entry that it has added into the client configuration file. So this is a file that Amazon provides you to avoid any manual entry and all those things. So we are good here. You can just close this. You can go to the open VPN in your machine. Okay, here you can right click this entry and you can import the file. You can select the desktop. So who is interested to do this on their machine? Okay, now the file is imported. Okay, I can just go and open it. Anyone want to do the, it's only client side lab, not the server side lab. Who is interested to do the client side lab? Anyone interested to do that? Let me connect. Okay, see now after I connect, this Open VPN tab will get connected. Okay, it is downloading the VPN client configuration and it is connected. Now it has assigned the IP address of 172.16.100.130. And after the VPN is connected, I will be able to access all the machines in AWS using private IP itself. Okay, I don't have to use in public IP anymore. So now I am in Azure system, in Azure server, I am able to connect to AWS server and AWS systems using private IP address itself. Okay, see now if I go and do the IP config now, it will also have one more IP address on 172 range. Okay, it has got assigned one more IP address in 172.1600. This is what the range we gave, right? So if you look at here, if I go and disconnect that VPN, automatically the public IP, the private IP address connection will also disconnect. See, it has started request timeout. So what we can do is once after you connect to the VPN, you can access all the systems in AWS using private IP address itself. See, I can connect to that server also now from Azure to AWS. I can connect it using the private IP address also. So even from your home also you can do it. Okay, 31.16.218. I can directly connect to that oh, that's a Linux system, sorry. Okay, I can use PuTTY or some SSH client to connect to that system. Okay, anyone want to do it? I mean, it's a 2-minute work that you have to do in your machine if you want to try and connect to OpenVPN client endpoint. Anyone want to do it from your machine? Or is someone using their laptop?
Yeah,
No, the thing is,
like
we have our own VPNs.
That's fine. That, I mean, it's not going to conflict. Okay, you can just install and uninstall immediately. You want to give it a
Okay.
try?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let me do one thing. I will just upload this
Share that.
configuration OpenVPN file into the Google Drive, or can you just provide your email ID? Who is going to do that now?
I'm Rajshekar. I'll do that.
Raj, right? Okay, Raj, I'm just sending the file to you using your Gmail ID. Can you put paste? Oh, okay. You are also planning to do it, huh? Okay, fine. That's fine. First, let's try with Rajsegar. Okay, so just give. Okay, I got the email ID. I'll make you a presenter. Okay, you can log into openvpn.net/community-downloads. You can do that. You can first download the OpenVPN client package. Rajsegar.
OneVPN.net. It's
Yeah,
community download.
openvpn.net. I'll just put that on the chat. 1 second. I'll make you a presenter first. Okay, I'll just type it on the chat for you. openvpn.net/community-downloads. So you can go and download this package, and based on your operating system, if it is a 32-bit OS, you can download the 32-bit, or you can download the 64-bit. Okay, you will have the option to go and do a screen sharing now. You are the presenter now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me,
No, it still says share is disabled.
1 second. Let me try it again. Attendee make presenter. Are you using a browser-based connection?
No, I'm using that GoTo only.
Okay.
Where I see file edit view, call window, everything.
Okay, I'll also make you an organizer also. Let it. Can you try now? Click on screen share.
No, it still says presenter needs to do. Should I refresh this? No, I don't think so.
You are attendee presenter, and you say when it says you are offline. I'm not sure why that is the
Offline.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Who else is connected with their laptop?
I can.
You can give your email ID. I'll just send that OpenVPN client package. Put your
Okay.
email ID on the chat. Okay, oh Bebins, okay. So both of you should have received a client package or the OpenVPN file. Okay, you can download it to your machine. So I've sent it via email. Okay, I've sent it to Rajshekhar Vedamurthy and V Bebins. Yeah, both of you should have it now. So once after you download it, maybe I'll make you a presenter, Bebins. Okay, you can just download the OpenVPN client. Okay, where is Bebins? Oh, Bebins is connected using web, but let's give it a try. Okay, you are the new presenter, Bebins. You can click on screen sharing. Yeah, perfect. You are able to do that. Good. Oh, for you guys, everyone is listed as attendee. Okay. Okay, let me give access to see who are all speaking and who are all connected. Okay, I'll do that from tomorrow. Okay, so once after you are done, you have also downloaded the OpenVPN package, right?
No,
Okay,
not yet. This
okay. No, not the ARM64. You can download the 64-bit MSI, the one above, last but one. Yeah, that one, right? Yeah. So while you install, if you are doing the entire lab, you can customize it. But here you may not do that. Okay, here we are just going to install the client only. That's fine. You can just install the client only.
okay.
No, that's
Just
fine.
install now, right?
Just click install now. Yeah, yeah. Only if you want to generate the certificate and all those things, you can just install all of them. So here you don't have to do that. Yeah, just click OK.
And yeah,
Okay,
basically, we are using. I mean, we are uh, creating root certificate, intermediate, and then the client certificate, right? That's
correct.
what
Root and intermediate and client certificate. That
intermediate.
is correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how they call it as in Windows level, root and
Windows, yeah,
client. That's
Microsoft.
fine. Yeah. Just right click on that OpenVPN icon next to your mic. You have that icon, Bibins. Yeah. No, not there.
Which one?
Just minimize it. Yeah, here on the bottom next to your keyboard and all those things. Yeah, you have the icon.
This one.
No, not there. On the right side. That one. Yeah, correct. Right click. You will be able to import the file. Click on import file, and select the file that you have downloaded. So this is the package that we downloaded from AWS. Yeah, select that. Click open. This will be a OVPN extension. Okay, .ovpn extension. Once you have imported it, now you can go and connect it. Yeah, just right click, connect. Okay, connecting to manage instance fail. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry. So it will go and check your C drive and those folder. Okay. So if it is not
Mhm.
there, then it will throw error. So what you can do is let me slightly modify the. I'll just send those two files. Okay. Or I'll just zip the
Okay.
folder and then I'll send it across. Okay. Let's do one thing. I missed that. You got my point, right? So in the configuration client file, it will go and check for your folder, the issued folder and private folder, and check whether the client VPN file exists or not. Okay, so that is something you don't have it. I'll just give that quickly. I'll send it
Okay.
via email. Okay, certificate. So are you connected to Google Drive by any chance?
Okay.
Uh, I'll just upload the entire zip file. Copy. 1 minute.
Which folder?
I'm just doing it 1 second.
Okay.
So you are connected to AWS, AWS in evening English file upload. So there is a openvpn.zip file on the root itself. Just give it a minute. Yeah. Let me look at your sharing. Just refresh. Yeah, you can download that. Yep. So copy that. Go inside, copy that folder into program files. Yeah. Go to downloads.
It's
Oh,
still
it's still
downloading.
downloading. Yeah. Okay, copy that to your C program files. Yeah, that one, and paste it and unzip it.
Inside open again.
Oh, you already have it, huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So after you installed it, this has created, right? Maybe you can just extract it and then only copy the ECRSA folder alone. Okay, you can extract it in the download itself. Okay, you can extract the folder and just copy the ECRSA folder alone. Okay, I installed the client one, right? So just extract it. Okay, and after extraction, just copy the ECRSA folder alone. Yeah, that folder alone, yes. And paste it within your OpenVPN. Perfect. Now you can try to connect it. So that's why we need to try it in multiple machines so that we get to understand what are the different steps involved. Okay, now at least we know that we have to have the certificate file also. Perfect. Okay, it's going. So it will go and verify whether that particular in that path, whether those client certificate exist or not. Okay, it showed some red, but anyways, you can just see it assigned 172.16.100.3. Maybe you can try to, do you have putty in your machine?
Oh, no.
Putty? No, right? Okay, you can just ping 172.16, sorry, 172.31.16.218. 172.31.16.218. So this is a machine in my AWS environment. You are able to access the AWS environment machine using the private IP itself. Okay, that's the beauty. If you disconnect it, you will not be able to connect. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can just connect again. Okay, let me show you something more on here. You can just say connect again. Okay, let me share my screen. So here I can also go and manage the connections in my AWS console. So I can see who has connected and what is their IP address, how much time they are connected, what is the username if I'm using AD based connection, and it will also give me the ingress connection, what are the IP address I have assigned. So your machine has got 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, I can just select your connection and I can terminate your connection also. No connections exist for the given connection. Okay, you disconnected it already.
No,
Okay,
still connected.
what is the IP? Oh, okay, there is one more connection now. What is your IP? Can you see IP config?
Yeah, it's .9.
.9. Okay, so I think many people are doing. Okay, good. Okay, 172.100. Who else is connected? This is saying 2. What is my IP? So mine is 128. Yeah, oh, okay, mine is 2. Okay, so mine is 2 and yours is, who is 130? I think the other person who was talking, right? Who was that? I forgot his name. Rajshekhar.
No, I didn't do anything. I mean, I'm not connected.
Oh, then how about this 130?
I don't know whose
Interesting.
connection is that. Yeah. It still
Okay,
says
anyway, see,
active.
yeah, so I can just disconnect the 2 connection here. This is my machine, right? I can just say
Mhm.
terminate. I can also disconnect the session from the console itself. So here, if I just go and say IP config, the connection will not be there. It's disconnected already. So if you can see that it is disconnected. So you can also manage it from your OpenVPN console itself. Okay, how many people are connected, from when they are connected, and all those things. But Bibin says it's a different IP. Maybe Bibin, you are looking at a different IP. It should be 130. Okay, you are looking at your local IP or something like that. Okay, it should be 130 only. Okay, let me try to disconnect your connection. Yeah.
Looks like there's another
Sorry,
one.
can I share my screen again? Which one I need to
Sure,
check?
sure.
IP.
Let me make you a presenter.
Okay.
Bebens. Second, I'm not seeing Babin's. Okay, Babin's web. Okay, you are a presenter now.
Which one is it? This one or
No, that is different IP, right? It is 172.22 IP. That is not the case. This is your Ethernet WSL, some other thing. Just check one more time. Go to the top. Scroll to the top. 170, that one, the
I missed
130,
one?
the OpenVPN tap tunnel. Yeah, so your IP is 130. So I can just disconnect it from here now. Okay, let me do it. Okay, that's what I told you, right? It should be 130 or something else. I thought someone else was also connected, so I'll just disconnect your session now. Okay, someone else is connected also, 34. I'm not sure who is that. Anyways, so I'll terminate your connection now. Your connection should
Okay.
automatically close now. I've terminated
It's
it.
showing
You can
yellow.
just give. Yeah, that's what. It is disconnected now. If you just go and give IP config, it will be disconnected. Just try to run it again. Yeah, scroll to the top. Check the OpenVPN tab. No, you are checking on the top. I think there is a. You can just go to ncpa.cpl. You are disconnect. You are already disconnected. Okay, just say ncpa.cpl.
Sorry, here I type
Yeah, you can type network connections, right? ncpa dot control panel. Yeah, cpl dot
dot
cpl.
CPL.
Yeah, control panel. Yeah, that's what cpl. Okay, you can see that your OpenVPN is, oh, okay, it's Windows 6. Okay, you have got still that is connected. Right click on that. Click on the status. Okay, it's enabled and there is a connections that is still going on, right? Okay, let me disconnect you now. 1 second. Let me disconnect here from the console. Let me refresh. Okay, so your IP address is 130. Yeah, it is still active. Let me just disconnect those. Okay, I've terminated your connection now. Let's see. See, it disconnected, right? Network cable unplugged.
Oh, okay.
So I can manage it from the AWS console itself. Okay, once you click it, automatically it is reconnecting. Maybe you have selected the option to auto reconnect. Okay, that's why it was showing yellow and it reconnected. Okay, so maybe there is a reconnect automatically, like 8 hours, 10 hours we have selected, right? 24 hours automatically it will get reconnected. That's
Okay.
fine. Okay, it says on connect. That's fine. Yeah.
So what does this mean? My Wi-Fi icon changed like this. So is it means I am inside the secured?
Yeah, you are in your VPN tunnel is established, right? So it will start using the
Okay.
connections for your VPN now. So that's what Pandian was asking, right? How this thing
Hmm.
work. So now all the AWS connections are working through the private to private IP connections. No more public IP address. It's all private tunnel within your public internet connection. Okay,
Okay.
even though you're connected to your Wi-Fi, Nokia mobile, still you are traversing through the VPN connection.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
Stan, all
that's,
the
yeah.
traffics, I mean,
Uh,
if we are accessing any websites, all those things can be seen from the VPN gateway itself, right? Like what kind of websites are we
yeah, I
visiting and
can monitor here. I can monitor all of them here. See if I enable logs, I'll be able to see what kind of traffic that is going on, how much time they are connected, what files they are accessing, what systems they are accessing. All those things I'll be able to monitor it uh, from my side here. Yeah, in the
so
AWS console.
it's only as long as you connected through VPN. Once you disconnect from the VPN, there is no way you can
Then
check
no, see that then you are using your own broadband
on
home
yeah.
router and you are connecting to internet. That is something we cannot do anything. It's like the client side of it. Okay, I think
Okay.
we are already at 9:30. So let's see if there is any other question. I'll stop your sharing. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll also stop this. I'll also go and uninstall this. Okay, I'll delete the client VPN endpoint. So this is the client VPN name that will get added to the client configuration file. So we are connecting to this CVPN endpoint. Okay, so the client point you are trying to have some association. So we have to go and do all the things that we have done. You have to disassociate. You have to verify if there is any connections. You have to disconnect all the connections. Then you can go and delete it. Okay, perfect. So now we are all done. Okay, this is how you can allow your remote users and home users to connect to AWS in a secure way. Okay, this is the client VPN endpoint concept. But there is another advanced topic called site-to-site VPN, where you can connect the entire office to AWS securely. You don't have to go and install the client VPN on each and every machine. Instead, you can connect two different office location or two different cloud in using the VPN connectivity. Okay, so that is something we'll see practically tomorrow. Let's stop it here only. Okay, so today we have discussed on Route 53 routing policy, and client VPN endpoint. So these are the topic which we have discussed today. Any questions on these topics? I know like we are getting more and more advanced into the network, but this is all needed for a solution architect to understand and solutioning the customer.
Stanley, when do you
Yeah,
use this CS certificate signing request? Like from the client side, they use, right? Like
yeah.
you need to generate. When do I mean, here you are generating everything on the server side itself and giving the
Mhm,
client certificate
mhm.
for the end users to use that and connect to the VPN.
Yeah.
But in
So
some cases, we are using the.
you can also generate for each and every end user. That's what I told you here, right? When we
Mhm.
generated the client VPN, you can give the actual client system
Oh,
name,
okay.
and you can generate for each and every end user. If you have 5 users in on a remote location,
Mhm.
some company will allow to use the same file for 5 users, but some organization they
Okay.
will say like as per their policy, we have to generate for each and every workstation or each and every desktop. Then we have to give the
Mhm.
actual full name, and then you have to generate it and use that for connection. They will not allow you to share
Okay.
the certificate.
Okay. Yeah. Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then any final question before we close for the day? Practice. Okay, these are all something which you, if you practice very well, then you'll be able to easily grasp. Okay, so let me stop the recording.